Listen to me with the ears of your heart, because what I'm about to tell you might be the reason your home has felt heavy, your sleep has felt disturbed, and your heart has felt tired for so long. There is a surah in the Quran that, the moment it enters your home, every trace of darkness begins to leave. The kind of darkness you cannot see with your eyes, but you feel it in the air, in the arguments, in the silence, in the sadness that has no explanation. This surah does not just protect you, it fights for you. It brings angels to your doors, light into your rooms, and calmness into your chest. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the shayateen cannot stay in a house where it is recited. So, before we begin, tell me, from which city are you watching this? And what time is it for you right now? Because tonight might be the night where everything in your home changes. The surah that turns a house into a sanctuary. Surah Baqarah is not just a recitation you play or read casually. It is a spiritual presence, a living protection, a light that settles into every corner of your home the moment its verses are spoken. When you open this surah, you are not just reading words. You are inviting mercy, inviting angels, inviting a tranquility that many people spend their entire lives searching for but never find. This surah was revealed over years, in moments of struggle, in seasons of victory, in times when the early Muslims were facing battles both seen and unseen. Every verse carries a history, a story, a wisdom, a cure, and a protection written by the one who knows exactly what your home needs, and exactly what your heart is going through. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us clearly, a house that takes Surah Baqarah into its walls is a house where darkness cannot stay. It doesn't matter how long the sadness has been sitting there, how deep the anxiety has grown, how heavy the energy has become. This surah pushes it out with a force you cannot imagine. And when this surah is recited, something begins to shift quietly. The atmosphere feels lighter. The silence becomes peaceful instead of frightening. The rooms feel warmer, as if an unseen calmness is settling in. You may not notice the change on the first night, but your soul feels it. Your heart feels it. And the walls of your home feel it. Because Surah Baqarah carries a light that no darkness has ever been able to withstand. This is why the scholars said, if people understood the power hidden inside this surah, they would never let a single night pass without it. Tonight, you will understand why. When invisible darkness tries to enter your home, there are moments in life when the heaviness around you cannot be explained by stress, or work, or people, or tiredness. It is a heaviness that slips into the walls silently, sits in the corners of your home quietly, and begins to affect the moods, the conversations, the peace, the sleep, and even the energy of the people living inside. You feel it when arguments begin without reason, when your home feels tense even though nothing happened, when your heart feels sad for no clear cause, when your mind feels crowded with worries that don't belong to you, and when you look around, everything seems normal, but inside, something feels wrong. This is the kind of darkness the world cannot diagnose. Doctors cannot explain it. People cannot understand it. Even you cannot put it into words. Because this darkness is not physical, it is spiritual. It is the kind that drains the soul, weakens the heart, and steals away the peace that Allah created for every believer. And yet, the moment Surah Baqarah is recited, this darkness begins to tremble. The verses of this surah are not ordinary. They are like waves of unseen light, moving through every room, washing away what was hidden, and pushing out what was silently feeding on your fear. The recitation enters like a sunrise into a room that has been dark for years. You may not see anything with your eyes, but the spiritual world reacts instantly. The shayateen that tried to whisper into your home start to flee. The negative energy that clouded your heart begins to dissolve. The heaviness that made your chest tight starts to loosen. This is why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us that the shayateen run from the home where Surah Baqarah is recited. Not because the walls are special, not because the people are perfect, but because the Quran itself carries a force that no darkness can oppose. And every time you recite it, your home is cleansed, your soul is strengthened, your family is protected, and you begin to feel something you may not have felt for a long time. A deep, gentle, quiet peace that settles inside your chest like mercy. You don't need expensive treatments. You don't need complicated rituals. You only need the words Allah revealed for your protection. The words that cure, heal, guard, and purify. The words that were sent down as a mercy to the entire world, and specifically to homes like yours. Because when Surah Baqarah enters, everything that was harming you begins to leave. The night angels stand at your door. There is a hidden reality that most people never think about. Every home on this earth is not just brick and paint. It is a spiritual battlefield, a place where unseen forces move, watch, withdraw, or approach, depending on the light inside it. Some homes feel heavy not because of the people living there, but because there is no light protecting them. Some homes feel cold not because of the weather, but because mercy has not been invited in. Some homes feel restless even in silence, because they have forgotten the one who brings peace. But the moment Surah Baqarah is recited, everything changes. Angels, pure, radiant, unseen beings, draw near to that home. They do not come because of the walls, or the furniture, or the decorations. They come because the words of Allah are being spoken inside. And the Quran is a magnet for divine protection. Imagine this: your home, at night, silent, still, with the world outside unaware of the battles you silently fight. And then you open Surah Baqarah. The recitation rises, soft or loud, clear or trembling, but sincere. And as the verses flow through the rooms, something begins to descend from the heavens. A light so powerful that the unseen world recognizes it instantly. The angels arrive. Not one, not two, but many. They stand at your doors, your windows, your hallways, your bedrooms. They watch over your sleep. They protect your family. They fill the air with a calmness you cannot describe. And they carry with them the mercy of the one who never abandons his servants. And the shayateen? They cannot stay. They cannot breathe in the presence of these verses. They cannot whisper. They cannot influence. They cannot remain, even for a moment. They scatter, because the house is no longer theirs to disturb. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the shayateen run away from a home where Surah Baqarah is recited. Not walk away. Run, because they recognize something many people do not. This surah is a spiritual fire that burns away their influence, their whispers, their attempts to darken your life. And when the angels stand at your door, your home becomes a sanctuary, even if it is small, even if it is broken, even if it is filled with daily struggles. Because protection does not come from wealth or beauty. It comes from the words of Allah, being alive inside your space. Your sleep becomes lighter, your nights become calmer, your home begins to feel warmer, as if an invisible mercy has settled in the walls. You may have felt alone before, but with Surah Baqarah, you are never alone, because the heavens are standing guard over you. When Barakah begins to flow into your life, there comes a moment in every believer's life when they realize that blessings are not measured by money, comfort, or success alone. They are measured by peace. The kind of peace that sits in your chest without asking permission. The kind of peace that makes you breathe differently. The kind of peace that makes the world's noise feel distant and the worries of your heart feel manageable. This peace does not arrive randomly. It follows obedience. It follows sincerity. It follows the Quran. And nothing brings this peace into a home the way Surah Baqarah does. When you begin reciting this surah regularly, you will notice something that is hard to explain in words. Your life starts opening up. Suddenly, the doors that were always closed start shifting. Opportunities you once thought were impossible begin appearing. Conversations become easier. Family relationships soften. Your income feels blessed even if the numbers haven't changed. Your health feels supported even if the struggles aren't gone. Your decisions become clearer, as if someone is guiding your heart gently from within. This is Barakah, the kind of blessing that transforms your life quietly, softly, but unmistakably. And Surah Baqarah is one of the greatest doors to this Barakah. Every verse of it carries a reminder of faith, a moment of guidance, a cure for confusion, and a light that reconnects you to the one who controls everything. And the more you recite it, the more Allah opens pathways for you that you never imagined you needed. Your days begin to feel lighter, not because problems disappear, but because the one who solves problems is now closer to your heart. Your home begins to feel calmer, not because nothing goes wrong, but because you now carry a shield that reduces harm before it reaches you. Your rizq begins to feel blessed, not because you earn more, but because your Lord fills it with a sweetness that makes a little feel like a lot, and uncertainty feel like security. And slowly, you begin to walk through life with a kind of quiet confidence, a spiritual strength, a sense that no matter how dark things get, you are protected, guided, and watched over. This is what happens when Surah Baqarah becomes a regular part of your nights. You no longer walk alone. You no longer worry the way you used to. You no longer carry burdens that once crushed your heart. Because reciting this surah is like placing your life in the hands of the one who never disappoints, never abandons, never forgets, and never fails his servants. And when Barakah enters, everything about your life begins to glow. Even in the middle of hardship, the secret most homes ignore until it's too late. There is a painful truth many believers don't realize. Until their lives begin to fall apart, their hearts begin to feel empty, and their homes begin to lose the peace they once felt naturally. The truth is this: many Muslims cry for protection, yet they abandon the surah that protects them. They beg for relief, yet they neglect the words that bring relief. They search for solutions everywhere, in people, in shortcuts, in routines, in advice. But the very cure they need is sitting quietly on a shelf, unopened, unrecited, unremembered. Surah Baqarah is not meant to be decoration. It is not meant to be wrapped in beautiful covers and forgotten. It is not meant to be visited only in Ramadan, or recited only when fear becomes unbearable. This surah was revealed to live inside your home, to breathe inside your walls, to stand guard over your family, the way a father protects his children, and the way a mother shields her baby. But today, many homes complain of restlessness, of confusion, of conflicts that appear out of nowhere, of unexplained sadness, of emotional distance between family members, of children feeling troubled, of couples losing their warmth, of hearts becoming heavy and numb. And all the while, the cure waits, untouched, ignored, and forgotten. Scholars of the past used to say, when Surah Baqarah leaves a home, something else will enter to replace it, because no space stays spiritually empty. It is either filled with light or filled with shadows, either filled with angels or filled with whispering forces that push your life towards sorrow. So, ask yourself, has your home been silent for too long? Have your nights been dark without Quran? Have your walls gone months without hearing the words that protect them? Have your children grown in a space where screens replaced recitation, and notifications replaced dhikr, and the Quran lost its place? If your answer is yes, then listen carefully. It is never too late to revive your home. The moment you pick up Surah Baqarah, even if your voice trembles, even if you recite slowly, even if you understand little, even if you struggle to finish, the angels write down, this home has returned to the book of Allah, and every verse becomes a brick of protection added to the foundation of your home. Even your effort counts. Even your intention counts. Even your small steps count. The Quran does not wait for perfection. It responds to sincerity. And when Surah Baqarah becomes alive again in your home, the atmosphere changes, the energy shifts, the mercy returns, and the peace you lost begins to come back to you. Slowly, softly, beautifully. Because this surah was never meant to be a burden. It was meant to be a lifeline, a rope from the heavens, sent directly to homes like yours. The night everything in your home begins to change, there is a moment, a single moment, when a believer finally decides, I will not let my home remain unprotected anymore. It might happen after a long day of exhaustion, or after weeks of feeling spiritually distant, or after months of sensing a heaviness in the house that no one else understands, or after a night when your heart feels too overwhelmed to keep pretending everything is fine. And on that night, you walk quietly to your prayer mat, you open the Quran, and you let Surah Baqarah touch the air of your home. The moment your eyes rest on the first verse, something in the unseen begins to awaken. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply, like a sleeping heart being shaken gently back to life. You recite slowly, maybe stumbling, maybe unsure, maybe tired, but every letter you pronounce rises like a powerful light and begins to spread through the walls around you. This light travels through the rooms that have been filled with silence for too long. It fills the corners of your home that have carried hidden sadness, and it pushes away the darkness that hid behind your stress, your fear, your confusion, and your unanswered prayers. You may think your recitation is small, but in the spiritual world, it is a storm of protection. The angels begin to descend in waves, filling your home with a tranquility you wish you could bottle and keep forever. The atmosphere softens. The tension lifts. The heaviness in your chest melts, as if something unseen had been holding it tight for months, and now finally lets go. It is in this moment that you begin to realize what you have been missing. You feel a warmth inside your chest, a warmth that does not come from comfort or success, but from the presence of the Book of Allah in your home. Your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes lighter, and your soul feels as though it has finally been given water. After walking through a long, dry desert, and then something else happens. A realization so powerful that it changes the way you view protection forever. You understand that the darkness was never stronger than you. It only entered because the Quran was absent. The moment the Quran returns, darkness has no option but to leave. And this is why so many scholars said, whoever fills their home with Surah Baqarah fills it with a peace that no one can steal. Because on the night you decide to recite this surah, your home is no longer just a place where you live. It becomes a sanctuary, a shield, a fortress, a place watched over by angels, and a place illuminated by mercy. You may finish the surah with a tired voice, with sleepy eyes, with a heart carrying many wounds, but you will rise feeling protected in a way you have not felt for a very long time. This is the night everything begins to change. When your home becomes a place where peace lives. There comes a point in your journey with Surah Baqarah where you begin to realize that the changes happening around you are not coincidences, not luck, not temporary emotional moments, but signs. Clear, gentle, powerful signs that your home is being reshaped from the inside out by the presence of the Quran. At first, you notice the small shifts. Your mornings feel lighter, your nights feel calmer, your heart feels less tight, and the heavy silence that used to hang in your home begins to soften into something warm and comforting. You begin to wake up without the same anxious weight in your chest, and even if your problems still exist, they no longer control the rhythm of your heart the way they once did. Then you notice the deeper changes. Conversations in your home lose their harsh edges, arguments dissolve before they explode, patience grows where frustration used to live, and the atmosphere of your house starts to feel like a place where mercy has finally returned. After being gone for too long, your children sleep more peacefully, your mind becomes clearer, your emotional storms calm down faster. The signs are subtle but undeniable, as if the walls themselves are breathing out the heaviness they have been holding for years. And then, slowly, beautifully, naturally, your home becomes a place where angels feel welcomed, a place where peace is not temporary, but constant, a place where the Quran is not a guest, but a resident, a place where you enter and feel a softness that settles into your bones and reminds you that this is what a home should feel like. Not a place of stress and fear, not a place of arguments and exhaustion, not a place where hearts suffocate silently, but a sanctuary, an emotional shelter where your soul can rest after the chaos of the world outside. This is the power of Surah Baqarah when it becomes part of your routine, your nights, your walls, and your life. It turns your home into a refuge that protects your faith when the world tries to weaken it, protects your heart when whispers try to darken it, and protects your family when unseen forces try to unsettle them. You begin to understand that true protection was never in locks, alarms, or routines. It was in the words you speak at night, when the world goes quiet, and only Allah hears you. It was in the verses that travel through your rooms, like waves of invisible light, carrying mercy, cleansing sadness, and pulling out the shadows that once lived in corners you never even noticed. And the more you recite, the more your home becomes a place where peace is not forced, but natural, where comfort is not borrowed, but built, where Barakah flows quietly. Through the conversations, the meals, the rest, and the hearts of the people inside. This is the home you have been trying to create for years, without knowing the key was always there, waiting for you to open the Quran and let its light live with you. The moment you realize your home has returned to the light, there comes a quiet morning, or a calm evening, or a soft moment between your breaths, when you suddenly realize that something inside your home has changed forever. It is not dramatic, not loud, not something you can show with your hands, but something your soul feels with absolute clarity. You walk through your rooms and notice that the air feels different, lighter, softer, as if the walls themselves have been washed clean. From years of heaviness and silent pain, you find yourself pausing for no reason, breathing deeply without effort, and feeling a kind of peace that does not depend on your circumstances, but flows directly from the mercy surrounding you. Your home no longer feels like a place of rush and pressure, but a sanctuary that holds your heart gently. When the world outside tries to break it, you feel it when the day begins. There is a clarity in your mind and a calmness in your chest that makes every challenge easier to face. You feel it when the night falls. Your sleep comes faster, your thoughts become quieter, and your heart rests in a way it has not rested in years. And slowly, you begin to understand something profound. This peace is not random. It is not luck. It is not an accident. It is the result of every verse of Surah Baqarah that echoed through your home, day after day, night after night, displacing the darkness that once hid in corners you never knew existed. You realize that this surah did not just protect your house, it healed it. It healed the silent wounds that no one else knew about. It healed the emotional cracks that life carved into your heart. It healed the spiritual fatigue that made your soul feel distant and tired. It healed the invisible battles that no doctor could diagnose and no friend could understand. And then comes a deeper realization, one that settles into your chest, with a truth so powerful that it changes the way you see the world. Your home is no longer just a building. It is a place where the Quran lives. And any place where the Quran lives, mercy lives, angels live, light lives, peace lives, protection lives. This is why everything feels different now. This is why the atmosphere has shifted. This is why you feel safe in a way that money can't buy, and people can't give, and the world can't replace. Because the moment Surah Baqarah entered your home, darkness was forced to leave, whispers were silenced, negativity was pushed out, and the unseen mercy of Allah began to surround you with a tenderness you never knew your soul needed so much. And now, after all the heaviness you carried, after all the nights you felt alone, after all the moments your heart nearly broke from the weight, you stand here, not in a perfect home, but in a protected one, not with a perfect life, but with a blessed one, not with all your problems solved, but with a peace that gives you strength to face whatever comes tomorrow. This is the end of the chapters, but it is the beginning of your new home. A home guarded by angels, filled with light, purified by Quran, and watched over by a Lord who never forgets the hearts that turn back to Him. And now, my dear listener, as this journey comes to an end, remember something with your heart, not just your ears. Your home does not need to be perfect to be blessed. Your life does not need to be free of problems to be protected. Your heart does not need to be strong to be healed. You only need to take one sincere step, one recitation, one moment of turning back, one night of choosing the Quran over the noise of this world. Because the words of Allah do not wait for perfect believers, they create them. If your home has felt heavy, if your nights have felt dark, if your soul has been searching for a place to rest, then let tonight be the night you return to Surah Baqarah. Let its verses walk through your rooms. Let its light settle into your walls. Let its mercy heal what you never knew was wounded. And as you recite, know that you are not alone. The angels are with you. Mercy surrounds you, and your Lord responds to every letter you whisper in the silence. May He fill your home with light, purify your heart with peace, and protect your family in ways you can see and in ways you will never see. May He wrap your nights with tranquility and your days with Barakah, and your life with guidance that leads you gently toward a future better than anything you are dreaming of. If this reminder touched your heart, share it with someone who needs it, because healing grows when it is shared. And tell me, before you go, from which city are you watching, and what time is it for you right now? Your answers help this message travel to every home that needs its light.